Hello everyone, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. Today we are talking about the divine masculine and specifically the ways in which the divine masculine has become wounded through societal programming in the modern day world. If you're unsure whether you identify as a divine masculine or a divine feminine, because again, these are labels to describe a balance of internal energies, not to describe genders. So although it is most common that a woman will embody the divine feminine and a man will embody the divine masculine, this isn't the case 100% of the time. At times, it can be the other way around for certain individuals. So if you suspect you are a divine masculine, I'm going to begin this video by sharing with you what the masculine looks like in his whole, complete state, his natural state, the state I like to refer to as the awakened masculine, the masculine resolved of all wounding and hurt that has been inflicted upon him by society, by a broken society. But before we get into this video, I just want to share that in addition to creating these podcasts, I am also a subliminals creator. I have created a library of over 100 subliminal affirmations tracks for all areas of life. What you're seeing on the screen now is a screen recording of my subliminals website, just to show you some of the categories of subliminals you can explore. So I have created subliminals for physical bodily changes, for romantic relationships, even attracting a specific person, for mood changes, happiness, confidence, anxiety relief, for basically everything imaginable, any kind of change, shift, or manifestation you'd like to create in your life. I am so passionate about subliminals because they are designed to influence and alter the subconscious mind, which is so important because it is the subconscious that stores 95% of our thoughts and therefore most predominantly affects our energy and what we attract into our lives. I really began to notice the most profound shifts and changes within my own life only when I started incorporating subliminals, which is how I developed such a passion for them and began creating them myself. When you sign up for a 7-day free trial account on my website, you gain unlimited access to every single subliminal in this library, as well as access to the new subliminals I am constantly creating and releasing on a weekly basis. And I really try to create these new subliminals based on what we are discussing in these videos, in my podcasts, as well as what is going on with us collectively on a planetary level. So the link to sign up as a member on my subliminal site is in the description box of this video. I have even created a subliminal designed specifically to heal the divine masculine wounding. This is called the Awakened Divine Masculine Subliminal, and that specific subliminal will be in the pinned comment of this video. To fully understand the wounding of the divine masculine, we must first understand the divine masculine in his natural state, in his whole healed state of being. The divine masculine is deeply present, very grounded, both in life in general, as well as in his relationships. So because of how grounded and present he is very good at listening to, and not only listening, but actively listening to and understanding others, especially his romantic partners. He is calm and confident in his work life and his career, as well as within his relationships. And because of this confidence, he doesn't feel the need to overstep the boundaries of another. He is capable of honoring the boundaries of his so-called divine feminine counterpart within these relationships. He doesn't feel threatened by her boundaries. He doesn't feel threatened by her stepping into her power. He listens when she expresses her authentic self. He is very logical, which is where some of his power lies, because he is very capable of analyzing, examining patterns within the world and understanding them on a very deep level. He has a lot of clarity from his ability to understand the patterns of the world. Within his relationships, he is very protective of others, doesn't feel threatened by their growth, is very honest and authentic within his relationships, and is capable of honestly expressing his thoughts and emotions without judgment, without being judgmental of others. When it comes to his own goals, he is very focused and disciplined in his goals. However, he is not so attached to material successes that he has entirely attached his sense of self-worth to these things. He has an innate sense of self, regardless of his external conditions, which works very ironically, because while he is not attached to material successes, he is also naturally a leader, naturally very successful, and naturally rises to leadership positions and positions of great success because he is unattached to these outcomes, and therefore allows for a kind of effortless flow in his work life, in his business endeavors, whatever it may be for him. Despite all of these natural successes, his ability to be a natural leader, he is very humble when it comes to his relationships with others and business associates and work, but especially with his romantic partners and within these relationships. He recognizes the benefit of the divine feminine energy, her intuition, her emotional nature, and he respects and honors her for that power, for that unique ability to intuitively sense, and he is humble in listening to her wisdom and insight coming from that intuitive emotional side. And remember that when I say all of this, it also works in the reverse between a healed feminine and healed masculine coming together. There is strong mutual support and understanding that the other has a unique perspective, a unique kind of power and ability to see things in perhaps a different way. And it is this joint energy that becomes very magnetic and powerful. If you are a twin flame, you probably understand this energy to an even deeper extent, because with your divine feminine or divine masculine counterpart, you can feel this perfect yin-yang balance of these energies when they are in harmony. However, because of the ways that divine masculine has been programmed by society, beginning with that small society, that small section of society, a microcosm of society we refer to as a family. Within these family patterns, the masculine becomes wounded very early on in life through what we refer to as the mother wound and the lesser known father wound. The mother wound comes into play for the divine masculine when his mother was not capable of nurturing him or fully meeting his needs. So he learns a lack of trust in the feminine, because the mother is his first example of a feminine influence in his life. So when she is incapable of fully meeting his needs and therefore is untrustworthy, he develops a sense of distrust in all feminines. This continues to play out within his relationships because he learns that he must control within these relationships because he cannot rely upon others, and he cannot rely especially upon the divine feminine, upon that feminine energy to nurture him. Therefore, he must care only for himself. And as a result, he can become very narcissistic and ego-driven, but this is simply coming from a state of being unable to fully trust and rely upon the feminine energy to nurture him, stemming back from when his mother was not capable of nurturing him in early childhood. So as a result, he may come off as being very controlling within relationships, even to the point of being considered abusive. He finds it difficult to respect the boundaries of a feminine, of his divine feminine counterpart, because within his relationship with his mother, he was unable to trust her, and therefore he feels unable to trust the feminine to set her own boundaries and to be trustworthy within the realms he cannot see her. Remember, the masculine is very logical. He likes to observe, to analyze, to understand. But when he has been wounded, he feels a need to be overly analytical, to be overly logical, to be able to always see where the feminine is, what she's doing, what's going on in her life, because he feels if he cannot see her, if he cannot be around her, if he cannot analyze her in this way, he cannot trust her. Again, because he could not trust his mother, the first feminine in his life. So he finds it hard to respect these boundaries or even to create his own boundaries. The boundaries between him and the feminine within relationships become very fluid. And as a result, he tends to attract and continue to create very unstable relationship dynamics. Another aspect of the wounded masculine is that he tends to withdraw when there is a conflict. He tends to avoid connection and intimacy with the feminine, either during these points of conflict or disagreement, or even just in general within the relationship. This comes because in his relationship with his first feminine, with his mother in early childhood, he found that whenever he tried to open up and to be open, honest, and authentic with his mother, he was rejected. He was cut off from her love, and therefore in his romantic relationships, he continues to feel unable to honestly, authentically express himself to his feminine counterpart. He feels unable to express the warmth of his love, unsafe to be that protective, loving, kind, understanding masculine that he wants to be within that relationship. He doesn't feel safe to be that, because when he tried to be that way with his mother, she rejected him. She cut him off from her love. He felt rejected. At the same time, he also has the lesser-known father wound. The masculine father wound often comes from being told by a father or having the example set by a father that he must be cold and aggressive and overly competitive in order to get ahead in life, that the only way to succeed is to step on others. He may have even seen the relationship with his father and his mother, these joint wounds playing out together within their model relationship for him. And as he saw them connecting with one another, he may have seen this wounding playing out between them, as perhaps his mother was either untrustworthy within her relationship with his father, or on the other hand, she was overly sacrificial. She sacrificed her entire sense of self for his father. Therefore, within his romantic relationships, he continued to feel that the feminine must completely sacrifice herself for the masculine. He saw that as a model, an example of love. And he may have also been told or trained, programmed by his father to believe that he was only lovable when he was achieving. So he began to attach his sense of self entirely to overachieving, entirely to his material successes. So he began to create this false self based entirely on ego, based entirely on his material successes, which caused him to feel unsafe to be fully authentic and honest because he was so attached to outcomes, so attached to succeeding, no matter the cost, no matter how competitive, harsh, or aggressive he had to be in order to get there. Again, this always stems back to meeting a very deep level need, a childhood need for validation, a natural dependency we have upon our caregivers for material and emotional support that we did not receive. And the gap between what we needed and what we receive is referred to as either the mother gap or the father gap. And this gap continues to carry with us through adulthood. And we continue to try to fill this gap with the love of others, the nurturing of others, and it causes us to become very desperate, having this primal need for validation and support within these relationships that for the masculine causes him to try to pull this support out of the feminine through control or aggression, or alternatively through withdrawing and avoiding. This video is starting to approach the 20-minute mark, so I am going to go ahead and close out my thoughts here for now. I will be creating separate videos designed to share with you how you can heal either the divine masculine or the divine feminine wounding. But if you'd like to get a head start on this healing, I have created both a divine feminine and divine masculine healing subliminal. Specifically for those of you who identify as the divine masculine, this subliminal I have created for you in mind. This subliminal I have created for you, I have called the Awakened Divine Masculine. It is designed to release those subconscious programmings that were put within you, that were perpetuated within you, beginning with that early childhood wounding, that wounding that occurred in the relationships between the mother and the father, that then carry on into adulthood, as well as the wounding that occurs even within our educational system and up through beginning in the workforce, in our careers, and even simply the ways in which this programming is reinforced by others in our lives, like our peers. So this subliminal is designed to allow you to step into your awakened divine masculine power and becoming the confident, secure, very powerful yet effortlessly powerful awakened masculine being that you intended at a soul level to be, one who is capable of attracting and sustaining the relationship with the whole awakened divine feminine and having a perfect balance, a harmonious union within this relationship that allows each to step into their full power and together to create a very magnetic force, that kind of power couple energy that can only happen between a fully healed divine feminine and a fully healed divine masculine. So if you're interested in exploring more about this divine masculine awakening subliminal, the link to it will be in the pinned comment under this video. Thank you so much for joining me here in this podcast. If I resonated with you, please subscribe to this channel, join our community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again in the next podcast.